All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and I'm going to use this because it's what I got. And I'm going to mark spots, although that's not a spot. But I'm just going to go around, mark things. That's what I'm going to do very first. And then I'll keep this on handy when I find other stuff. But once I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this section. And then I'll come to the quarter, pull this stuff off, and I will focus strictly on the quarter. We're going to put bed rail caps up here, black ones, and then across there. One panel at a time. If you're doing this yourself, best way to do it so you're not doing a bunch of stuff and getting confused. So I'll go around and I'll mark everything, and you can use one of these. If you use a Sharpie, just make sure you grind it all off and you grind out where you're going to be doing body work. I usually don't use Sharpies. You can find other stuff. They make different markers you can use. So yes, and we'll do the tailgate and so on and so forth. So that's what we'll get done right now. Okay, so I went around and I marked areas with the white. This whole door just kind of needs to be blocked. But what I'm gonna do is I got my Durablock set here. Here's a skinny one. Here's a big hand one. This one's cut in half, but it's my round block, full size one. And then that's a hard block, and then a small hard block. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 320 on them, and not all the areas, but like here's good. I'm not gonna mess with that with 320. Here there's some messed up stuff, so I'm just gonna block with the 320. Wherever I don't need to touch at all, we're just gonna 400 grit and leave it. Nothing will get messed with. In here, and all this, I'll take 320 and I'll scuff it out and kind of clean it out, and we'll caulk it, put some primer on it right before we do the paint. So depending on what I'm doing, so like this panel is pretty straight here. I may hit it. It's actually pretty nice. I see a few little spots, so I may not hit it with the 320, but if I have some doubts, I'll just 320 it. We'll see, because I don't want to be burning through everywhere. I want as much gray to stay as possible, so that way we're only dusting the certain areas and clear coating it. I don't want to be having to put paint over the whole entire thing. So Durablock, I've had these probably 15 years. Bought them once. It's like 70 bucks for a kit. I think they're cheaper now. And then we'll get everything masked off. You know, we don't want to get anything ruined in here. And then we'll get started on the bodywork. Then start, like I said, I'll start on this quarter and 320 what I need, bodywork what I need, and then I'll 400 it, and that panel's done. Exact same thing on here. I'll take this stuff off. I'll put some rags in the gas cans. We'll get this screws out and cleaned up. But same thing, 320 what I need, block, and 400 what's good. Just fix whatever I need. One panel at a time. This thing should be done in a week. So we'll see. All right, quick thing. Take some wax and grease and wipe the whole vehicle down before you do anything. If you want to take a little lacquer too, clean it, make sure that it's all, nothing's on it. Do it twice if you want. Another thing, when I pull pieces off, I put them back together. Then I either put tape on them. If they're screws, I get the small sandwich bags. I'll put them in there and mark exactly what it is, what side, and then that way we're totally not messing with losing things. And then where I marked with that pen, I wiped it off because I know I'm going to be blocking, because I don't want to get that pen all over everything. So right here, we will, with the 320, just lightly go over it. And you can see it's not too bad, but we'll block this down just like that, and we'll get further down. And then if we see any spots, honestly, if it's not too bad, what I'll do is I will leave it. If it's an obvious ding in there, then no, we'll put some dolphin glaze on it. But I think this should block out pretty nice, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Just block until you hit metal, and then you're good. Okay, good example right here. So that was actually high. So up here, don't have to do nothing, 400 grit. I did find a chip right here. I didn't even see it before, but that's why we go over everything. This, as you're sanding, if you see a shiny spot in the middle, that's obviously low, like guide coat. You wouldn't need a guide coat this. You could if you wanted. You'd have to scuff it first, but this was high right here. And so we're actually gonna have to tap that in just a hair. I know this is a little low, obviously, because that area is sanding, but when we seam seal it, it'll be close enough. So this isn't show, but it's still got to be nice. And those panels, I mean, they're just a hair off. The guy that did the metal work on that Bronco and the one in the booth, when he put those new panels in, he freaking made them perfect all the way up. They look great. But this, we're not going that far. So anyway, this is all actually good. That was just high. So you can see that's a hair low, but nothing to worry about. Tap those in. That's done. We'll feather this out, which I'll just hit it with the block. And then got a piece of 320 here. I'll come in, and from this angle, I'll come in. Then I'll also hit it straight on. And then I'm going to come from this angle over here, and we'll hit it, blow it out, and then that should be ready for caulking. Pretty easy stuff. All right, so I went ahead, I tapped that in a little. I'll hit it with the grinder a little bit. There was a big Audi right here, probably from this getting hit, and it kinked that out. There's a little one up here too, but I'll probably leave that because the fender flare will come right here. I'm gonna get the grinder out and clean this up. And what I did here was I just blocked it with the 320. I did put a little guide coat on it because I noticed it was kind of wavy, and so I'll block that, and we'll see anywhere to put some dolphin glaze. This is dolphin glazeable. I'm not going to use Bondo. And then you can see there was little spots. You see where I hit them with some 180 or 120 grit. Just little areas when I blocked it. And so all I'm going to do is dolphin glaze them ever so slightly. And then I want to put everything on the whole panel at one time. Over here is pretty good, so it'll just be those few areas, and then just this on the quarter. So putting the dolphin glaze, I just hit that with 120. You can put the dolphin glaze straight over that. You're good. This was a bigger dent I was pounding on, so I ground it out. You want to sand around it with 80 grit on these areas. Yeah, so we'll get to blocking and then get some some Bondo on, or dolphin glaze. Okay, so hit our spots with dolphin glaze. I put Bondo on those spots, sanded it once, dolphin glaze over it, hit everything with 320 real light because I don't go over it with 4, just to make sure there's no surprises. But everything came out pretty good, pretty simple. So this is ready to prime. I'll probably do this tomorrow, and then I may work on the fenders. I may skip the door. That needs a bunch of work. The tailgate needs a bunch of work. It's pretty bad. And actually, I may go ahead and get this quarter done first. Save the bigger spots for last. All right, that quarter's looking good. Little tiny spot there. This tailgate is just so trashed, but I ground out all those bubbles. And then this fender, or this quarter, it's actually pretty nice. There's only a few spots. So what I'm gonna do next is, there's a little ding here. There's actually an Audi. Big old at the bottom there. See that? And then both sides are kinked. I'm gonna take off, like I said, not that far, probably about an inch in to match the rear. Cut a lot of this off that's extra and hanging down, and then that should clean this up. And it's kinked exactly the same on both sides. I'm thinking about leaving it. Oh, these are supposed to be cut out, I believe, for the heater, and so got to cut those out too. This is going to be getting all new rubbery ordered, and I can't remember if I said that already. Everything's going to be black. Everything. I'm going to trim black this. Just everything's going to go black. Wasn't going to touch the dash, but we found... See that? See that? Just horrible. Alright, so we got a bunch of stuff stripped off. I decided I am going to do in here because it's just going to do it. Be done. Mark everything. Put tape on it. Keep it nice and clean. So we got the locks, the top, that, and the lights up front, and then this is stripped, and I'm going to go around and grind all the spots. I'm going to take my trimmers, cut that, and wet sand this thing. Pull the doors probably to jam it, clear it at least, and re-clear, paint where I have to, but we'll pull the doors, and I'll spray the body jams, and then I'll spray in here, put them on, send it. Well, put it back together, then send it.